So a lot of people in Britain today, they don't believe in God anymore, do they? Do you believe in God personally?
No, I'm not religious.
No,
I'm an atheist.
You're an atheist,
yeah.
okay. So let's put a scale to you, okay? 10 is that 100% there is a God, okay? And 0 is there's no chance, there's no God whatsoever. Where would you put yourself on that scale?
Probably about a 2.
A 2.
Because I don't think you can ever be 100% certain on something like that. But I think all the evidence from science and stuff like that points towards there not being a God.
So you said a 2, so why would you not go all the way down to 0 then?
Well, I think to fully reject the idea of some sort of God, whether it's like Judeo-Christian or otherwise, I think is worse than saying that there is I think it's the sort of same as saying that there is a God 100%, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think you can ever be 100% certain unless you have the evidence for it.
Okay. So what kind of evidence would make you believe there is a God?
Well, anything that's based on like the scientific method and stuff that goes through like a rigorous sort of method, you know, where you have peer review and stuff like that. So evolution, you know, genetics, fossils, stuff like that. I think that all points against a God of religion. The one that's presented in religion anyway, you know.
Yeah, I'll tell you why I'm not an atheist, okay? I really looked into it when I was at uni particularly. One of the big things is I can't believe that everything can come from nothing. I find that very difficult to believe, that we all came from a chance, there's too much value, there's too much meaning. And the other big thing is right and wrong, morals. So there's 3 ways morality comes to us. It's either through the individual, you decide what's right and wrong. Yeah. It's through society. Society tells us it's right or wrong, what to do. And the third way is God. Which out of those 3 would you say makes most sense?
For our morals?
Yeah.
Well, I definitely don't think it's from any sort of biblical text, because I think I personally think that they're a bit dated, some of the beliefs that are in the Bible, you know, especially like the Old Testament. So I'd have to say from the individual, but I don't really believe there are any sort of moral values really. I don't think they exist. Right.
Well, you're being very intellectually honest there. Yeah. So you have looked at it then. That's good. That's really helpful.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say is you've got to be an atheist and to be consistent. You've got to say there is no such thing as morality. Really, It doesn't exist. It's all an invention. If Charles Manson or a rapist says I want to rape this woman, and the woman says no, but that makes me feel bad. Well, he says it makes me feel good, so that doesn't make sense. And then if you say it comes from society, we just have to look at Nazi Germany. There was a society that stood there and said that killing Jews was a good thing to do, and we both know that was an evil thing to do. Well, I believe it was through God, but that's the thing. The atheist has to say.
Well, the atheist can. I mean, I think it's popular belief that was, you know, a wrong thing to do. You know, I don't think. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what caught them. I don't know if you heard of the Nuremberg trials before.
No.
In the Nuremberg trials, the Nazi leaders were put on trial for everything they'd done wrong by the rest of the European countries. And they said, it's wrong for you in countries like Britain to say that you yourself, we've done wrong, for you to shove your morality on us. We in Germany, we just followed our own moral system. So how can you say we've done wrong? It's sheer arrogance for you to say your morality is better than ours.
Yeah.
And this is what the chief prosecutor, a man called Robert Johnson, said. He said, except you know there's a law above the law, and the Bible says this, that God has written the law upon man's heart and woman's heart by giving us a conscience, so we know the difference between right and wrong.
So some kind of divine law.
Yeah.
But if it's given by our conscience, then what world does the biblical text claim that?
Yeah, so we can sear our conscience, okay? So the Bible is the morality. This is what I believe is the moral code which we follow. But we can sear our conscience. So, for instance, a man could go out and sleep with lots and lots of different women, okay, and commit adultery and do all of these different things. Has he done anything wrong? Many people would say, well, not really, but the Bible says that is wrong, and but it might feel really good to him, so he might do that. But the big thing is, this is where I was going to. This is the question I've been asking everyone. Okay. Is do you think you're good enough to get to heaven?
That's quite a loaded question.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I don't think there is a heaven, so. But if there was a heaven, I don't know if I would want to go there anyway. You know.
Okay, that's helpful.
Because there's so many restrictions for who gets to go to heaven. You know. And I'm gay, so I don't know if I would, the traditional belief in God would sort of allow that,
Yeah. So,
because homosexuality is like a sin in the Bible. So
yeah. So, but if we just leave that for a moment, this is where I was going with it. The Bible says no liar can enter heaven, okay? Now I've told lies, you've told lies, everyone on planet Earth has told lies. So none of us can get to heaven. God's pass rate is 100%.
Exactly.
And none of us can do it. But the good news is this, there's two types of people that get to heaven. Perfect people and forgiven people. Now, none of us are perfect, but we can all be forgiven. Because 2,000 years ago, Jesus, God's Son, came into this world and he died and he bled and died on a cross, taking all the bad things you've done, all the bad things I've done. He was nailed on that cross so that we could be forgiven. Because the Bible says without the shedding of blood, there can be no forgiveness of sins. So that's why we're here to tell people that, and that's the good news. But
who can be forgiven then? Can anyone be forgiven, no matter how atrocious the act is?
I mean, that is actually the good news. That is the good news. Some people would be listening to that and thinking, well, could Hitler be forgiven? Everyone could be forgiven if they call out to Jesus. It's not because they've done anything good, but when you become a Christian, it's almost like you get this garment, this robe of righteousness. God's goodness, God's righteousness is given to you as a gift, and you get that. And God doesn't see you in all of your sin, or he doesn't see Joe in all of his lying, his drug taking and his drug dealing, all the things he's done in the past, all the bad things he's done. He sees Christ's righteousness, Christ's goodness, because I've asked him to forgive me. So yeah.
But I personally don't agree with that, though, because that means someone could commit atrocious acts for their entire life, and then that could all be absolved by turning to Christianity. So I have to wonder, I don't think some people could be forgiven if that's the case. If there was a God, I don't see why he would forgive everyone.
It's a bit like this. I wouldn't do this because you're a really nice guy. But if I slapped you around the face, okay, and then I said, I'm really, really sorry, and you say, okay, Joe, okay, I forgive you, I can see you're sorry. And then literally a minute later, bam, I slap you again. And then, okay, I forgive you, Joe. When it comes to the 7th time, you're going to be like, you're not really sorry, are you?
Yeah.
And that's what it's like with God. God knows our heart. If we've changed, we will truly leave the sin behind and we'll follow after him. But do you have any more questions?
I don't think I do.
No. Thank you so much for your time. I really am grateful. I really have enjoyed this, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you.
You too.
God bless you.